What's good, FD? It's your old man, otherwise known as Coach Golden, checking in for this little discussion on, you got it, GSA. So let's get to it. So the question has been asked, what was the mission of GSA? By the way, Georgia Supreme Athletics. In short, we wanted to be recognized as the next generation youth sports movement. And more on that, but the whole bottom line is we came along at a time when rec sports had become stale, quite frankly. And there was not a lot of following. People weren't doing what we proposed to do. And we were one of the very first independents in the metro Atlanta area that ended up actually changing the game. So we like to think that we took the approach of using sport to get to the kids. And by kids, we mean the young girls for cheerleading and the young boys for football, and develop them as a result of being very intentional football coaches. So that was really the entire mission. And so when you get into why was it created, it's because it wasn't being done. And quite frankly, my son, you, at the time we're coming up, I wanted better. And I looked around and I shopped area rec programs, and I didn't see any of what was in our heads to create that existed. And so rather than be complaining about it, I rolled up my sleeves, grabbed some partners, Coach D, Dwan Anderson being one, and we spent a lot of time in the lab coming up with ideas around what would be the next generation youth sports movement and to do it differently. And I think we succeeded in setting a legacy forward. I would say in terms of one of my most memorable, there's so many memorable moments along the way, several here in my basement where we met endless hours, designing logos, talking about strategy, recruiting parents, getting to know each other, building trust really, because frankly, what we had to do, which really is one of my favorite moments, was unheard of at the time. So favorite memory will take me all the way back to a location where if you're from Atlanta or familiar with this little group called Outcast, it's where they got their start, over off of Headland and Delowe in the East Point, College Park area. We were at a local church, a little storefront church, and we were presenting our vision for GSA. And we looked up and we had a room full of people that were very interested in what we had to say. And we had yet to identify a league to play in. We did not even have all of our age groups filled. And Dee and I looked at each other and realized we were onto something because of how authentic the message was. And to me, that was one of the most amazing things. And we've had championships. We've been to the Frank Ski Bowl. We've traveled. We put folks into this game in a way that has helped them even to this day as we speak. And some of the Clayton County Freshman of the Year players in terms of Jay Money and Justin Murphy, as well as others that have come along a long way. We've even got one of the last guys that came through my organization was Dylan Favors. Remember that name. Dylan was probably 3.5 years old, played on my touch football team, and Dylan will be leaving KIPP Academy, headed somewhere to make some program great very soon. He's an athlete. He plays quarterback, but he also plays the slot and in many other positions. So in any event, our most favorable moment was starting in that location on Headland and Delowe, sharing our vision and having people buy into it. And then 10 years later, building what we built. And then now almost coming up on 15 years later, seeing the youngest of our crew that came through that organization matriculate through high school at this point is just very rewarding. And I'm just hugely thankful to the parents, the volunteers that bought into the vision and helped us build it together. GSA all day.